Hi everybody, welcome to my channel for a new battle report. I had the pleasure to play a practice game against Hugo from Warhall, aka Sweko, that just won the ETC like 1.5 months ago. Thanks to him again for the game. It was really a pleasure to play against him. It was a long time since we played together. I face his Dread Elves list, slightly modified from ETC. I'm still playing Wild Earth. I tried to rearrange a bit my core. I wanted to try a game without the big unit of tribesmen, so I put a block of scraplings with parry. Then I wanted to try the unit of 8 dogs. I fielded the bunker for the mage, a small unit of tribesmen. Then I kept my tuskers and a tiger. I decided to remove all the yetis in exchange for a second giant and 2 pieces of chaff. I thought yetis, maybe I prefer giant, and then instead of 2 yetis, then 2 pieces of chaff that are less resilient, but still it's more chaff on the table, and the trappers that can allow me to be very aggressive from turn 1. Hugo's list, basically it's based on his ETC list. So he had a block of spear with a couple of fighty character. He has a master of evocation. He has 2 units of auxiliaries, 5 shadow riders, 27 judicators, 3 gorgons, 3 thunderpack, 5 warlock acolyte, 2 repeater battery, 2 units of black cloaks. So basically I put in green his available chaff. He has then 4 main combat threats and a lot of shooting in the list. So it's going to be quite challenging. Breakthrough and encircle for this game that we got randomly. I picked the following, so I decided not to go with Break the Spirit nor Chilling All. I wanted a more aggressive setup. I decided against Bolt Thrower, and what he has, Swarm of Insect, is really interesting. The same goes for Totemic Summon. Basically it's 2 spells that can kill easily Bolt Throwers. So I felt these 2 I wanted to have in the list. Obviously number 1 that is very useful from distance and also close combat. And then I decided to go for Savage Fury to try to frenzy bait some of his chaff piece, thinking especially about Black Cloaks that could be out of the bubble at some point. And then I had Rod of Battle with the BSB. He had Danse Macabre, the Snipe, -1 Resilience, Leadership, Reroll to Wound, Hereditary, and Will Turn as a bounce spell. Matchup analysis, I felt quite complicated matchup because of the lot of range damage and the fact that he has +1 to wound overall, which is also, if you take into account the number of poison shot, everything put together is kind of a hard combination for a list that has not a lot of armor save and a lot of monsters that are very sensitive to +1 to wound and poison and high amount of shooting basically. I would be happy to start because of his range damage, happy to get pressure and to go in combat as soon as possible. He has plenty of chaff, he has black cloaks, which are a danger for my monsters, so I want to use the frenzy spell on them and basically try to make him pay for the shots. So if he wants to come within 12 to shoot me, I want to have something that can charge him in return. I identify 4 combat threats in his list, so my game plan is going to be get rid of the Gorgon and Thunderpack as soon as possible, that I expected to be more on the flank of his deployment, and then try to deal with his shooting attack at the same time more or less, and chaff the Judicator until I can possibly fight them, although I'm not sure I want to fight them because they are very, very good in combat. So if I can avoid them, since we're playing Breakthrough, I'm not going to be forced to engage. My matchup rating was maybe a 7, didn't know, but I didn't felt too good about the matchup, but still felt I had some chances because I still have a lot of units on the table basically. Deployment, unfortunately I won the role for side, meaning he could start the game. I picked the big center and gave him the impassable. I had a lot of piece of terrain to cover myself from shooting, which I felt was quite interesting with this part of the map. Obviously Hugo decided to drop, and he did what you usually should do against a list like mine that has a lot of single models and mobility, is use one side of the map and drop on half the table more or less. So he put Light Cav, Warlock Acolyte, Gorgons, auxiliaries with the mage, 2 Bolt Throwers, scouted his Black Cloaks here, the Judicator block with the remaining characters, unit of auxiliaries, and the unit of spears. And on the far right, on his weak flank, he just put the unit of Thunder Pack to be annoying for me, which is a good choice because it's not easy to chaff since it provoked terror, so I felt it was an interesting choice. My counter deployment, so the first thing that I pay attention to, I want to minimize his shooting. So I make sure he gets no Black Cloak shots on the Rock by deploying them that way. Basically, by being 18 away, I was outside of 22, so he cannot go against one of my Rock with his poison shots. That was the prime intention. And then I minimize what the bolt throwers and auxiliaries can possibly do on most of my unit. And at the same time, yeah, I felt quite interesting the way he dropped his scouts, basically put him that way so that I couldn't drop directly on the hill, so I had to drop here and then vanguard towards the hill to put a trap counter on the hill. So I felt that was quite interesting from him. And yeah, that's how it's going to go. So my deployment, I put the dogs on the far left. I wanted to have a threat in case he wants to push out towards my center, that he has something annoying to charge his flank, and basically the dogs have a lot of attack and don't cost too many points. Within 12 of my general, then I put normal Rock, BSB on the right, Iron Fist Giant, Tuskers facing the spears more or less. And then my scoring unit, so here Mage Bunker, Dart, and Scraplings plus a Giant. So basically my game plan would be push with the Giant, get charge, counter charge with the Rock, and then put 1, 2, 3 scoring unit in his deployment zone. So that I ensure that I get 3, and then fight with him to make sure that he doesn't get more than 2. Basically that's the game plan. And try to not lose too many points in the process. He's turn 1, so he pushes forward to get max shot at Giant, put both units in range, plus the auxiliaries. The rest just march forward as much as he could, more or less. I was surprised he gave me a possible charge with Terror causing Giant, which is definitely something I would consider. And here he gave me like 11 here and 12 on some unit. In the magic phase, oh yeah, also at the same time he removed the trap counter and suffered no DT. Magic phase, he tried Dance Macabre in area mod. He failed that one. Then he tried to snipe something but failed. With shooting, he did a total of 3 wounds to my Giant. My turn 1, I took 2 charges with 2 Giants. This one against the Cloak is stand and shoot and did a wound to me. So I still have like 3 wounds left, so I should be fine. So yeah, charge here. Wanted to get rid of him. Obviously this opens a bit the game. The Judicator cannot see me. I cannot use that unit to chaff, so I am not going to overrun, but I want to set up counter charge. Here I took this charge. He had a terror check on the 8, which he failed, so he's going to flee from that, which is good news. So that's how it goes. Other than that, yeah, since we are still far away from the Judicator, I push really hard with the Tuskers that are not so afraid from combat against these guys. So I push quite a lot forward. Try to angle them a bit to be more further away from the Judicator. Hide my dogs and position myself to possibly counter the Medusas. Move these guys back, put another trap counter here. March forward with them, move a bit forward here, and push hard with the BSB to make sure that if he rallies, I have an easy charge on them. And position here also the chaff piece if I need to. In my magic phase, also I decided, since the dog, if I didn't know exactly what to do, I tried double 6 to block the Medusas. I felt if I get them in the flank, I could have a good surprise. I could possibly win combat, get some health point, and if I fail the charge, it's not too bad. But I felt the right move should have been marching behind the wall to get hard cover and then force him to shoot at me, try to get rid of me behind the wall, and then I can charge stuff. So I felt the right move would have been to be here and then to try to keep the general within 12, which would have been possible here. So here I felt first mistake done by the dog. In the magic phase, I'm going to get Hereditary on the Giant, thinking about the upcoming combat against the Medusas. I get with 4 dice against 5. I was lucky. I got a Totemic Summon that did 2 wounds to the rightmost Bolt Taurus. And then I also got with 2 or 3 dice a Frenzy on those auxiliaries, thinking if they need to charge something that could be very, very annoying for him. They are in bubble, so it's 10 rerollable, but you never know. Let's move on to combat. He did another wound to me, but I kill him after, which is nice. So at least I traded the Giant for 5 Black Cloaks, which isn't too bad. Obviously not interesting on point, but get rid of an important unit in the perspective of the Rock playing more in this game. His turn 2, he moves his general and BSB into this unit, ready to get charged. He failed the frenzy, so he had to charge me. He charged the trapper first, and then, not sure I understand why, he decided to redirect onto the rock, which I think is questionable. It was on a 9, he got that charge off, so I'm quite happy because I think I can get rid of a lot of model in the unit, and then I could get a free pivot and charge stuff. If he wouldn't have done that, he would have just failed charge forward. Maybe he was afraid, and then I can charge and he cannot flee the charge, which could be annoying for him. So maybe that was the main reason for that. I don't know. So he took that charge, got in, charged with the Medusa against Giant, which was expected. They fled the first charge, obviously. The Acolyte came chaffing the dogs, basically made sure that as long as he killed 2 models, I cannot charge pass through. Charge pass them. Those guys rallied on 8, which is bad news, and the rest just move a bit forward. I think he failed the march check on the auxiliaries due to the totemic, which was nice. In the magic phase, I decided now is the time because I see a lot of opportunities for combat, so I Binding Scroll, Spectral Blade. He got Touch of Reaper, which did 1 wound to my Tuskers. He tried to get Fly Move on them to try to reposition them in front of me, but minimizing the contact maybe. Which he got. No, he didn't got. I dispelled that. That was my main priority because if I get only 2 models in contact, I'm in deep trouble. So I dispelled that one. And then in exchange for that, he got Will Turn on my Tuskers, which is a bit annoying, but at the same time, I just will be not wounding on 2+, but 4+, still rerolling the 1s. So it's annoying, but I felt this was better than the fly move. Shooting, he will kill the totemic summon. He shoots at the dog as well, did 7 wounds to them, which is a lot. Panic check on a 5, and I fled out of the table, so punish for the mistake of the dog. Heavily, but deserved. Close combat, he killed the giant. And here I kill a lot of them. He tests on -5 or -6. He fled, I restrain check. So I'm going to get some exciting charging next round. I charge a lot of places. BSB charge here, he passes the third check on the 8. Tuskers decided to go since I have 1 model with 1 wound remaining, so I felt now is a good time to get max impact. And I checked that I could chaff the Judicator with Tiger. Here I get a charge from the General and the Rock. Unfortunately, I couldn't avoid to get 2 times 2 model in contact because of the unit nearby. Rally those guys that reform that way. That's it more or less. Yeah, reposition my giant, suffer 2 wounds from the DT, but I wanted to march forward and bring some pressure here in the middle since I don't need him anymore on the right, and decided to turn around the mage bunker, move this direction. Really want to secure the fact that my scoring unit are going to touch down here. Still in range for magic on Tuskers if I need to. In the magic phase, he used the Binding Scroll on Hereditary to avoid the Tusker getting Hereditary, which makes a lot of sense. I get Savage Fury on the Tuskers, and I get another Totemic Summon with 4 dice against 5, so lucky me again, but the luck is going to turn because I breast against the same Bolt Throwers, and I'm going to do 3 wounds, but he saved 2 on 6 up, so he's still alive and he's going to most likely kill me next round. Close combat. So close combat is very, very exciting because as you can see here, one thing that I experience in my games with Rocks is if they can get in a overrun cascade, it can win you games. And here I'm already seeing the fact that I can overrun here, then it's going to be his turn, he has no charges at them, so I can just kill them, then it's my turn and charge and overrun and stuff. So I have a lot of things that I can do with a free pivot 360. I can basically, I felt, at the point of time that I take this charge, I felt this left flank is dead, this right flank is dead, he has 2 strong units, maybe I lose the Tuskers, but then if I just avoid him, I think the game is won. So that was a bit my feeling at this point of time. Just need to make sure that I get rid of this unit at some point, which seems doable, especially if he wants to run after me. So I felt I could have here a good opportunity to win the game. So let's see what happens. Close combat. So here I'm getting rid of them, turning around. That's fine. Medusas. I kill only 1 with impact hits. He goes back, strike everything as Rock that he can. He did. He leave me on 1 wound, which is still okay, I felt. The general suffer no wounds, then I go back, I kill him, he pops. And unfortunately for me, he didn't pass the discipline check. So he failed the panic, they move away. Which is a drama for me, because I don't get any more an overrun with the rock. And now I'm going to lose my rock, basically. So, yeah, bad turn of event. Since I was close to each other, I didn't get any good reform. I decided I need to overrun with one of those. Unfortunately for me, I made the wrong choice. I took the overrun with the general that could get into the Bolter on 12. I rolled an 11. And now I'm in a bad spot. So I felt I should have just overrun with the rock. I'm going to get killed no matter what and get into a good position with the general looking at the scoring unit or other stuff, basically. This close combat is interesting as well. I challenge, since he has no champion, I challenge with my champion. I felt, yes, BSB might do some wounds, but it's not so likely that he kills my champion, and then I can fight at least one round on him and have an additional model that survives. So we'll see how that goes. We strike at each other's. The champion, he passes a total of 4 ward save, so he's still alive. I did nothing to him. I will do like 7 wounds to the unit. He will do like 4 wounds to me. He's steadfast and passes the steadfast. So that's all good for now. And my turn, and his turn 3. So he rallied the fast cav. That was very annoying for me. Turn around with the shooting to shoot at me. Here you can see move everything out of the general, and basically the situation is if the general charge here, he can just flee out of the table, and then I fail charge and I lose another turn. So I felt that's very annoying. He charged the tiger. Here we're still in combat. He moved those guys to shoot at my tiger here that I couldn't hide better than that. Pushes with the warlock here to the flank, and those guys rallied. Yeah, those guys rallied. In the magic phase, he got, I dispel reroll to wound. He got hereditary off, I guess. Shooting, he kills my rock. He did the last wound, unfortunately for me. Close combat. This time, I still survive with my champion. I did 2 wounds to the BSB this time. So, yeah, not bad. And I did a couple of wounds to the unit. I'm still alive, I think, with one wound on each. It's a steadfast for him that he passes again. And he also sacrificed a lot of his tokens to try to do wounds with hereditary, but did nothing for me. I rolled like 3 or 4 armor save 5 up, so that was crazy good for me. Kill the tiger, decided to overrun towards my mage bunker, try to add pressure, and he rolled crazy good, like 11, so he's really close to me now. My turn 3. So still a lot of things died in this game. What I'm going to do, the giant charged the black cloaks that are really close. He decided to flee. I caught him and stay like this. I decided not to charge the fast cav and to put pressure on this unit. So I march here, rallied those little guys. Here we're still in combat, and here I march away, passes the march on the 7 rollable, march those guys away, move the shaman out, is charged on the 11 and 11. Those guys march forward, so I still have a ways to escape. I felt I didn't need to sacrifice the giant basically at this point of time. And I marched, so I felt I couldn't fit here to be out of his arc and looking at them, if I remember correctly. So I had to move around and try to put pressure on his backline here and to march here and apply some pressure. So we'll see how that goes. Magic phase, I get Swarm of Insect, finish the last wound of the Bolter, which is nice. I get Rod of Battle on them, but unfortunately close combat, he will just kill me outright before I strike. So they are dead, and now it's this turn and he can escape from my rock, basically. We can also ask question whether or not this guy is looking the right direction. Maybe could have looking that way to put pressure on stuff. Since he has a BSB on 1 wound, could have tried to charge here. So I had some options and things to do that were probably better with the general. His turn 4, he decided to charge with the Acolyte against my giant. I have 5 wounds left. This surprised me a bit, to be honest, because I think there is a risk for him to fluff. Then I break him or kill him, and I can go to his flank. And if I do that, obviously he can kill me. Maybe I have like 2 wounds left and he can kill me with 4 attacks. But if he doesn't, there is a very good chance he lost that unit. So I felt that was a risk for him that I'm not sure was 100% needed. So he took it, got the charge off, turned those guys to go in front of me. He could have potentially used the fast cav to chaff me, I don't know. Set up a counter charge with them. Those guys push towards my backline. And that was it. Those guys charged the trappers that fled through the giant and ended up right here. In his magic phase, he got reroll 2 lethal strike on them to basically make me think twice before I go into this combat. He tried the snipe on my general. I passed his 2 ward save 4 up. I was lucky. And then another 2 save from his shooting from bolt throwers and auxiliaries. So not bad at all. General was feeling lucky. Close combat. He did 3 wounds to me. So I had 10 attacks on 4+, 2+. And then he has like a 5 up in close combat, I guess. And I did only 3 wounds, so we 2 wounds. 2 wounds. I was steadfast, so we stay here. Too bad. I felt here there was an opening to do something better. My turn 4. I decided, basically, I thought about this. What can I do with the general? Move here in the back and look at his scoring unit. But he has these guys that can move 18, chaff me. He can still move in front of me, use that and push and organize a counter charge. So I felt if I charge now, he has a counter charge on 9. If he doesn't get that, I have a good chance to deal with that. I cannot charge them too late in the game because he has Academy, Parry, and he can survive. So I have to engage a sap. So I think due to the bad decision that I made before with the general, I have to take this charge. So I take it. What else? I think that my only charge, the Rock pushes max. Try to put pressure. Here we're stuck in combat. I move all these guys away. He has a charge again like on 11, 12. So we'll see what he does, but now he has to choose between going into my zone or chasing me, which is interesting. Didn't rally those guys, continue to flee. In my magic phase, I got an interesting magic phase. So I got Swarm of Insect on 3 dice, I roll 5, 5, 5. So I lose the spell. Too bad, but at least I one-shot the bolt thrower. Lucky me, so that's not too bad. No bolt thrower anymore. Then I got Swarm of Insect off with 4 dice, I roll 6, 6, 6, 6. 4 times 6. So what's the odd of rolling 3 times 5 and 4 times 6? So I miscast. I get a totemic summon right here to breast at them. I breast at them. 2 are remaining. But the miscast does, I roll a 6, 6, a 5 and a 1. So I'm alive on 1 wound, but I gave away half point. Bad news, and those guys, they passed the panic, obviously on a 10 rollable. Close combat, the giant got rid of those guys, which is nice. Here, what happened? He did 1 wound to me. I went back, killed some, but not much, like 4. He passes a steadfast, I guess, on a 10. And then it's going to be turn 5, and he's going to take that charge on a 9 on 2 dice. So now it's time, because I know that if he doesn't get in, I have a chance of breaking his steadfast, move away, and try to kill some more stuff, or maybe go for this small unit. But basically, could be the game here. And he got the charge, so unfortunate, but still, I have a chance. I mean, if he doesn't get the right spell off, it's basically about Spectral Blade. If he doesn't get Spectral Blade off, I have a chance. I mean, I could do some attack on the right unit, and then maybe I can hold, and if I hold, Giant here with like 10 attack, also Totemic Summon, so I have some options. If I stick here, I could very well end up taking all of that. So I felt it's not the end of the world. Let's see how magic goes. Decide to turn around with Judicator to look at me and be able to go in the scoring zone on turn 6 and move those guys to just be annoying for me. Maybe get a charge on those guys. Could still kill them with a charge, so I have to pay attention. What happened in magic? He cast with 4 dice Lethal Strike on this unit, and I try to dispel it with 5 dice, and I fail. So now is the end for my general. He get as well Hereditary Close Combat. He declined the challenge and just kill my general outright. Goodbye, general. That was nice. And my turn 5, I try some tricks. We discussed that together. It's quite funny to discuss the solution and the possible, the possibilities around that. I didn't feel there is a perfect solution because basically the deal is I have 3 scoring units. He has 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to kill that one and block 1 to get into the zone. So what I tried here is to tell him you cannot reform properly, so you can go forward, move here, but then you're not steadfast. So if I charge you with the rock, it's annoying. So you have to get checks. I tried to charge here on the 15 with the totemic. I failed. Obviously, I couldn't charge them. He protected them very well. I didn't rally those guys, and the rest just moved forward and far away to not get charged. On my magic phase, I tried to cast Frenzy on them. I thought quite interesting, out of bubble. He dispelled that one, obviously. I got another small totemic summon here off for the next round, try to press at them. So I still felt I had a chance, and now, important, I have a shooting on the 4+ on the flank of them. If I get that, there is a good likelihood that he has a panic check on the 8, and even on a 5-up I could kill second guy, so never know. But I didn't hit. So his turn 6, he charged totemic summon, put those guys to chaff my rock. Those guys turn around forward, move forward, and that's it, more or less, I guess. Magic phase, he did -1 resilience to the giant, snipe on the giant, did 1 wound, and then with shooting from auxiliaries he killed the giant. The giant is dead. My totemic, so my last round I tried to charge here. Still a chance, I mean I have a breast weapon. It's like 13, 14 away, I guess. So I have a breast weapon. If I get that charge off, I could very well, I mean it's a flank. That could be the game again, but I failed the charge, and I even failed to be in range. I think I rolled like a 6 and I needed 7, and I was out of range, so I should have been like 13 away or 14. So still doable charge, but I don't get it, and I don't get the breast weapon. Annoying. Here I charge, he passed the terror check, he's fine. I guess he had some BSB, maybe general, I don't know, but he passes the terror check, so all good. And yeah, that's more or less the end. I will try another totemic. It's going to dispel, I guess, and that's more or less it. So we ended up like that. We draw on breakthrough. We both have 3 unit scoring breakthrough. He killed my general, which is 640. He got half of the shaman that I gave him. He killed the tigers, killed the Tusker Cav, killed the 2 tigers, killed 1 rock, and the 2 giant, which is 3000 more or less. And I got from him a unit of auxiliaries that chaffed me at the end, that I fought 2 times with 2 different rock, funnily. Got the Gorgons, the Thunderpack, the Warlock Acolyte, the 2 Repeater Batteries, and the 2 Black Cloaks, which is a bit less than 2000. So that's 13-7. Yeah, congrats to Hugo. Well done. Post-game analysis, what can I say? Having him having the turn 1 forced me to minimize and lose some ground. Obviously, I would have liked to try to rush him a bit more and start the game and chaff him turn 1 and push. Would have liked that. Game plan followed. First, go for the Thunder Pack and Gorgons. They were all killed after turn 3, I guess, or turn 2 even. So I got them out early, which was nice. Some questionable decision, I guess. Turn 2 Tuskers, since I wasn't able to support them with another unit charging turn 3, I think it wasn't a good decision to charge at this point of time. I could have, by deploying them better or waiting a bit more, maybe wait a turn more for the charge. I had the option to basically chaff with the Saber-tooth Tiger the unit of spears and be far away from the Judicator that they cannot charge me. So I had this option to wait another turn to charge, and this would have given more time to the BSB to come support. So I felt here maybe not the right decision, but as it is a training game, I also like to try a bit more risk than I usually do, but here I think that was the wrong risk. General overrun turn 2, maybe the biggest mistake of the game. Definitely cost me also the general at some point. So as you saw, after that I tried to recover, but the damage was done, so I shouldn't have taken that overrun with the general. General turn 4, I think if I don't charge turn 4, what do I do? So charge his light calf turn 3, I would have lost another turn, so I don't think it's a good solution. Not charging the auxiliaries, I think I don't have the choice to charge or not charge. I have to go. I have to go because of how many time left in the game and the fact that I did already some mistakes with the general. I think I don't have this choice. Some lucky totemic summon. I got 3 of them off at the end. 3 of even 4. 2 of them with 4 dice against 5. Caused him a bit of trouble. He also got a key reroll to wound lethal strike at a key point of time in the game. I would have been very interested to see how it would have gone if he didn't get that buff off. I would have very curious to see if I can survive, get the counter charge. I still had there was still a game here. Spears MVP, they kill my Tuskers, kill my generals, so they kill the Tusker family. The turn 5 charge was key for the secondary objective, obviously. About my list, couple of points. Tigers aren't the right choice. I think without the hunter, basically you have no musician, and it's very hard to move them right. So I felt the Tigers wasn't too convinced in this list without basically a Mammoth Hunter on foot. BSB reroll was too far away from my center line, which was at some point maybe problematic. And yeah, very enjoyable game, a lot of action. So I think it was also enjoyable for you to follow around on the battle report. 2-3 words to finish on the deployment. I think my deployment was decent, but I could have done better by doing it that way. So if you analyze right flank, what do I want to do against them is chaff countercharge. Actually, I just need a Tiger and a Rock to do that. I don't need a Giant. Because the Tiger has leadership 9, rollable within 18 of the BSB, so I just move the Tiger forward, chaff him, and countercharge. And that's done. So nothing else to do. The Giant could be elsewhere. This allows also my Shaman unit. I think we saw that I wanted to go to this part of the map no matter what happened. So I should have started here to get a bit more room between myself and the Judicators. So I think that would have been the right spot. And this allows the Tusker to be a bit closer to the Impassable, put more distance between the Judicator and them. So I think that would have been the right choice on the right part of the map. And then middle left. Definitely I wanted something on the left flank to cause him trouble, but I think here the right choice would have been this Giant on the far left. To have something annoying out of shooting range turn 1, but then being able to turret check stuff. He's far from the BSB, so I could have caused a lot of trouble with the Giant right here. My Tigers should have been here in the middle. Obviously could have then put the Black Cloak here and try to go for the Giant turn 1, which is something I didn't want too much, but I cannot avoid him going for a Giant turn 1. So I think if he goes here or there, doesn't change much. Maybe the Black Cloak being on the flank, they are further away from the rest to then cause me troubles. So I think to bait him here with a Giant could have been the right choice. Also, this frees me by putting the Tiger here. What I like is the fact that he can shoot me turn 1 on the Tigers, obviously, but he's not likely to kill them all. So he can shoot them, and then I still have like 3-4 Tigers left that can charge stuff very far away. So it forces him to chaff me or do something about them. So I like that fact, and also that would have pushed those guys further away from the hill, leaving more breathing room for the trappers. So I think a couple of small adjustments that could have putting me in a better position during the game and cause even more troubles to my opponents. That's it for this battle report, guys. I hope you liked it. Thanks again to Hugo for the game, and talk to you soon on the channel. Bye bye.